Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're continuing our review of Monster of Peladon, which was sent to me recently by one of my patrons, Unknown Don't Trust Numbers. I've never seen it before. It's my first time watching Monster. I've seen Curse multiple times. And right off the bat, the resolution of the cliffhanger honestly copies Curse of Peladon. I've said before, I still haven't quite made up my mind if I think Monster is just a retread of Curse. But the Doctor kind of lures Agador, well, not quite to sleep. He kind of hypnotizes him. He calms him down with that little trillaloom, 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 trillaloom. I wonder if that would have ever worked on a couple of the blondes I used to date. They were a bit temperamental. And you're gonna trillaloom, trillaloom, trillaloom. When the monsters or Doctor Who are easier to get along with than some of the people in real life. I continue to be impressed by Sarah Jane in this. I really like Sarah. Elizabeth Sladen is always good. Sarah Jane's my favorite companion. But you know, sometimes you have those performers, like they're always given 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. But then you get those performances where they're given like 13 out of 10. This is it. I like Sarah here. I like her conversation she has with the Queen when the Doctor's like, maybe you should stay and talk to her for a minute. And the Doctor kind of talks to her about, you know, women's liberties and women's feminism, all that. Which he's like, basically, we don't take crap from the men. And, you know, the Queen explains about how it's usually a man that rules Peladon, and she's only there because her dad died and he didn't have any heirs. I like how they do that scene, especially, you know, this episode came out in 1974. That was a very important time for women's lib, and that's one of the reasons Sarah Jane was created. She was created to be an icon. For, you know, you listen to Barry Les and Terrence talk about that, how they very much wanted, you know, a very strong individual female role, and which is what Sarah Jane is, especially in this story, especially in season 11. So it's nice for her to have that conversation with the Queen. But I love the fact it doesn't go on too long. It doesn't feel heavy-handed like some people might accuse some of the stuff in the modern show. You know, it's not an Orphan 55 moment. You know what I mean? You know, it lasts like a minute, and then it cuts away to other stuff, and you understand that probably more of that conversation is happening off camera. But it's nice that it does have that moment, because Sarah is a strong character. She is the type of person who would have this conversation with the Queen. And it is an important message to be gotten across. So it does it in a good way without being eye-rolling. I was really impressed by the scene when I saw it. I also love right when the Doctor is talking to Alpha Centauri, and Sarah runs up to tell him something. He's like, oh, just a minute, Sarah. And Sarah's reaction is, she looks amused by it. Because he's not doing that to her because she's a woman. The Doctor does that to everybody. You know, if the Brigadier ran up, now look here, Doctor, just a second, Brigadier. The Doctor always thinks he has the most important thing to say in a room. The third Doctor especially. So I like that when he's like, just a moment, sir. And she gets this little smirk on her face. And again, it's just Elizabeth Sladen being like a 13 out of 10 in this story. And it just makes me love Sarah Jane even more. I love that it's a little thing, but I absolutely loved it. It's just amusing to me how no one wants to listen to the Doctor. Well, I mean, some people are, but not enough people. That one guy who's like the Queen's right-hand man, I can't tell if he's one of the bad guys, like that kind of character was in Curse, or if he's just incredibly stubborn. I mean, sometimes you run into these characters, they're not one of the bad guys, they're just incredibly stubborn, and you can't make them see that they might not be right. They're just that one guy. You know what I mean? It's like they're not necessarily the bad guy, you just want to grab them and shake them. There's a lot of that with him. I still haven't decided if the engineer guy, the one in the black jumpsuit that looks a lot like a younger Major Krennic, if he's a good guy or a bad guy. I mean, because he kind of acts like a good guy, But he acts so much like a good guy at times, I'm suspicious. And then when Sarah Jane tells him the doctor's plan about checking out the refinery, the camera does this weird zoom on him where he's like, I'm like, that's suspicious. That's suspicious. You know, my alert was like, boop, boop, suspicious. So that's suspicious. And I can't believe, I like Alpha Centauri's portrayal in this all the way up until she's like, the doctor must have betrayed us and changed sides with the rebels. I'm like, come on, Alpha, you're better than that. Come on, you vouched for the doctor and everything. And just by seeing that, you're like, oh no, he's a traitor. I'm like, come on, Alpha. I expect better of you. The actress playing the Queen seems better to me. I kind of get that she's playing this young girl. Like, you get the impression she's probably like a teenager, like 18 or so, maybe 15, 18. So she's playing this kind of naive character just because she's playing this young character thrust into this position of power that normally a woman wouldn't even be allowed to position her, to take, I won't say position herself, wouldn't be given. But she's been thrust on her and she doesn't know how to deal with it. She's used to having advisors. So I think the actress is playing to that and it's working really well. I'm really warming up to her. John, of course, is great in this. I'm enjoying this. I just love his frustration that people won't listen to him. It's like, because it's not like he's sitting there going, but you can just see it in his face that he's somewhat irked that people won't pay attention and listen to what he's trying to tell them. I enjoyed the scene when when he tries to take the guard's keys and the guard's like, hey, and he's like, hey, can't blame me for trying. Can I get my water? And the guard just pours the water back in the... I enjoy that. But there are times when it's going from like something that looks like it's shot on film to something that looks like it's shot on videotape where it's very jarring. Again, I'm watching the DVD of this, and I'm hoping when the season 11 box set comes out, that'll be cleaned up and look better. There are times when it looks like it's on film and it's really grainy, and then it goes to studio and it looks totally different. And especially when it's kind of popping back and forth. It's a bit jarring, just a bit jarring. The cliffhanger's fine with it being the Ice Warriors. I mean, I knew the Ice Warriors were going to be in this. And you kind of got a hint from that when Alpha's talking to them on the radio. And that sounds like Ice Warriors on the radio. So you kind of get that Ice Warrior whispery voice. So that's a hint there. But when they're the ones that walk out of the refinery, you know, if you didn't know they were going to be in it, I could see where that's shocking. Holy crap, the Ice Warriors again, you know? I could see that moment. I still don't know if the Ice Warriors are villains or not, because they weren't in Curse. That was part of the whole lesson of Curse, is that, you know, the doctor judged them when he shouldn't have without giving them the benefit of the doubt. He judged them just because they're Ice Warriors. So I kind of hope the Ice Warriors aren't the villains here, or it'll kind of invalidate that. And it could be, you know, it could just be a cliffhanger that's quickly resolved at the end. Oh, yes, doctor, we got here early. We're here to help. So I'm curious to see how that goes. Yeah, it's fine. It feels like a kind of a retread of Curse, which I don't think was necessary. But just in a bubble on its own so far, halfway through it, it's fine. I've enjoyed some of the performances. It's definitely one of my favorite Sarah Jane stories in the sense that her performance in it. I really loved how well Sarah's written. I love how just on it Elizabeth is. Sarah Jane's been the highlight of the story for me so far. I love Sarah Jane in this. So it's a highlight of my favorite companion, and I'm enjoying that. So part 3 of Monster of Peladon. I want to know what you think. Comment down below and let me know. Other things to do. Click the like button and the subscribe button. That helps me out, and I certainly appreciate it. I am trying to hit 1,000 subscribers this year. It is 2023, Doctor Who's anniversary year. So I would love to hit 1,000 subscribers with that. Don't forget to click the like button. That helps me out with the YouTube algorithm, which I appreciate. I also have a Patreon. If you like my content and would like to support my content, get early access to a lot of videos. I'm really trying to really get a lot of early access stuff up there. I'm making a big push for that this year. So if you would like to check that out, I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane, Colin Coney, and Finn Perkins. I appreciate their continued support. I also appreciate Unknown Don't Trust Numbers, who's also one of my patrons, for sending me this DVD. I'm very much enjoying it so far. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you would like to send me as well. That's down in the description, as is a link to my Amazon wish list if you would like to check that out. Most importantly, though, thank you for watching.